Hello. Welcome to my podcast, Tech Minds Unveiled.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure to catch up with you on this podcast. A brief introduction for all the users for this particular podcast. Sagar is a veteran in RPA space, has got a decades of years of experience, 7 years of experience in RPA alone. I would call him a dinosaur in RPA space. Knows about design, development, strategic builds, organizing the entire practice, and top of it, recently has been also working into technical account management space, which really adds value for his skill. And I think with this particular a professional being available on this podcast, I think we'll have a lot to learn from Sagar. And taking this opportunity, I would like to have this discussion with Sagar and try to get most out of the man that is sitting with us.
Yeah.
So, welcome again, Sagar.
Thank you so much, Shripat, again for this fantastic introduction. It's pleasure to be here on probably the first
Yeah,
in
kind of
person
uh,
RPA specific podcast. So yeah, it's a great honor to be here with you. Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think it would be the first RPA podcast. I hope so.
Probably, yeah.
Probably,
Yeah, yeah.
when we're catching up face to face.
Yeah.
But let's make it big.
Yeah.
Let's try to get more out of it. So to kickstart the conversation, my first question would be, uh, according to you, when did RPA start catching up? I think we have been both in this industry from past 7 to 8 years.
Huh.
But according to you, when did it start catching up? Could you share some information?
Yeah, like if we go back to the emergence of RPA tools like UiPath, Automation Anywhere, and the Blue Prism, let's date it back to 2010s and around that era. Uh, the need for automations or need for bringing in some practices that arised, and this tool also arised at the same time. And the normal automations with respect to the desktop application automations and all. So that started happening around that era, and slowly and gradually, then it kept on adding more and more, I'll say, skills or opportunities or abilities into those tools. And then from desktop automations, then process automation, and now intelligent automation. So it has been a gradual growth, and I think going forward, it's all going to be intelligent automations, wherein I think bots will be even more intelligent to heal themselves, or intelligent enough to communicate with the humans in a proper manner. And the time to build these solutions will take. It will be lesser time, I believe. So around 2010 and 20, in between this time, around that, I can say the RPA RPA started gaining the momentum.
Hmm. So I think spot on is because that's when everybody started getting into this particular ride.
Exactly.
Uh, Automation always existed. I
Yeah.
think it got framed better for use.
Yes.
It suddenly became available post the automations in the testing domain
Yes.
got amplified, and that's how it became ready for use. So whilst you were on this journey, uh, how did you get aligned to RPA?
Yeah.
Did you start learning, or was there one particular sort of an incident that really brought you closer towards RPA? So
Yeah.
what was the ignite
Yeah.
at this particular journey for you?
Yeah. I mean, thank you for asking this question. I've been from the non-programming background. I have completed my diploma and graduation both in the mechanical engineering, and I have honestly done that with a lot of passion. But the circumstances were such that I got opportunity to uh, work on the department level problems and the challenges, and slowly and steadily I got into programming concepts. Before that, I think one thing I would like to add to the previous questions of the RPA emergence. So earlier, I think we were having automations, but those were in phases, or those were scattered. Like, one would automate only the specific application, one would automate maybe only Excel, one would automate maybe a database, one would automate maybe APIs, but there was no connection between all of them, and or there was no flow to have all of these in one go. Yeah. Or rather, there was no, those dots were not getting connected. And RPA helped all these dots to get connected in one frame, basically. Yeah. So you would, trigger the Excel automation, then you would trigger the desktop automation, then you would trigger the API automation, and everything became now in one flow. Yep. And that's how it started gaining the momentum, because it was bringing all the legacy automations or the legacy systems in one frame. Yeah. Yeah. And that is where it actually started getting more momentum. Now, coming to the question, when or how I started, how I got the ignite, yeah, of the RPA. So, back in 2015 to 2019, when I was in one of my first organization, and I was working there for on the electronic document management system and in the fleet of documents, and we were handling thousands and lakhs of documents over there. Those were getting generated from EPCs basically, and the main oil and gas organization or companies, world's biggest oil and gas companies. Though between them, these exchange of the documentation and approval or review and all these things were happening, and that was a big domain for the business. And I was thrown into that basically because of the circumstances. And when I went there, I saw that people were actually facing challenges with respect to some application constraints, or let's say, for example, I'll give you one example that we were uploading, let's say, hundreds of documents into EDMS system, and while uploading them in a bulk, we were supposed to create a small pack of CSV, and people were creating those CSVs manually, having hundreds of columns and hundreds of rows. And even if you make a small mistake, let's say add a hyphen in the title, or you add some extra digit in the document number, or you mismatch something, and you upload that, it would take around 1 to 2 hours for getting uploaded and validated. And if there is any error, it would fail everything, and then you have to start everything again. That is where I thought that this is an opportunity wherein we can save this time. Basically, again, RPA things will come over here, like, increasing the accuracy, reducing the efforts, and then what I can, the other things of the advantages of the RPA. And all. Yep. So, so I started understanding how it can be improved. So I came across VBA. I started working in VBA. I started understanding Excel formulas. I started programming from there. I started writing macros, and then gradually I got good hold of it, and I built automations into that. So that for that particular CSV, let's give one validate button. Let's write a code in background wherein it will check all the necessity things. If everything is fine, it will allow you. If not, it will highlight it maybe in a red or something. And then you get a chance to correct it at the same moment. So you, yeah, upload it in the first way, it will go correct. Now, there is no rework. There is, and then from the next time onwards, we conquer that repetitive work. Yeah. The term that we use in RPA, that repetitively, you have to upload it when it fails, or you have to check all the things manually. So we sidelined, or we found a good replacement to that manual activity. So we built small automation around that part. So like this, we built hundreds of automations over there, and but that was all with VBA itself. But in VBA, it's a big tool itself, and with VBA, then I was able to associate databases, I was able to associate with PDFs, I was able to associate words, outlooks, and everything. I would play around everything. And I'm thankful to the leads over there, basically, those who gave me free hand to work on them, work on all the tools. And then, I would basically, I took care that my work doesn't hamper. I took care that I will complete my work, all work that is assigned to me. And after that, I will spend my additional time on all these things, or maybe some more time. And from there, my concept started getting clear. And then in between, I came across Jiffy AI as a tool, because with VBA, I would automate all the maybe PDFs and databases and all that. But desktop or web automation or API automation were not that easy, maybe for me, who is coming from non-programming background. So that is where I came across something like a Jiffy. I came across Win automation in around 17, 18, 2016, 17, 18. And also I came across UiPath. And boy, from there, I saw that, it doesn't require much coding. You just drag and drop the things. And whatever you wanted to do, you don't have to write a code now. And the first magic I saw was that it was able to open the browser, it was able to download all the data tables and into Excel, and then you can use that data for any purpose. You can send it to someone. It was having everything that you want: emails, Outlooks, websites, then everything. And I was amazed with that. And from there, I thought, no, this is where I want to go, because I had done a lot of things in VBAs and macros and everything, all the automation. My all the concepts were, I will not say got clear, but they got solid base. When I was working, I was trying to solve problems of the people over there. I used to go to them, what is, or they used to come to me with their problem, and I used to sit with them to understand their problem. So this is where the business analyst role of the RP comes into the picture. Then once understanding is done, then basically you will have to design it. You will have to think of all the aspect, what is before that process, what is after that process, what is the criticality, what efficiency you want, how fast that can be achieved, and all. So that is where designing or architecting aspect came into the picture, and then developing it on the own. Then the development aspect came into the picture. So in the development, following all the best practices, exceptions handling, communicating with the business users, communicating with me as a developer. If suppose there is any problem into that, it would send mail to me. So this kind of handling all the business aspects and the technical aspects, that I came across, and I got a solid base for that. And then basically once you development tested, you go to the business user, you say that, hey, I have built this. This will solve your problem. Come sit. Let's have it run. Let's get it executed. So we got executed that. They are happy. Then deploying it on their machine. Basically, I was not familiar with the production concept, but at least I was doing something like that. So deploying it on their machines, and then from there, taking care of that as well. Taking care of that, building new automations as well, and then from there supporting them, and going to the business users for understanding. So, this is entire, I can say, life cycle, from the discovery phase to the maintenance, deployment and maintenance, these things got clear. And then RPA came into the picture, and I was like, yeah, this is something I want to do. Oh, yeah.
It's quite an interesting journey, and honestly, what I could understand is you learned the basics of RPA before getting into RPA.
Exactly.
With the help of tools like VBA,
Correct.
macros, and then when you got RPA, it looked like a silver bullet now, really.
Exactly.
No, where you could really start working and build automations as quickly as possible. Industrial automation, I will say. Absolutely. Because I was into individual automation. So I'll not say industrial automation, enterprise-wide automation. Enterprise-wide automations, RPA enabled me to, gain that opportunity. And then along with RPA came into existence like the orchestrator tools, orchestration tools rather, I'll say, and then the robots. These concepts also came into the picture, which gave a lot of control over the automations that you have built. Previously, what were happening is you gave that automations to the business user or the end user. They will take care of it, how to run it, when to run it, how this input should go, output should go. They would take care of that. But
with the addition of all these additional tools, I'll say, or the products, it became even more interesting and exciting and easy for pursue the further career in.
Okay. So whilst you were on this journey, I think you started off with Jiffy AI.
Jiffy.
And I think during those times you had Win Automation, Blue
Yes.
Prism, and Automation Anywhere also, right?
Automation anywhere.
And
And
you
you
are
are
still trying to be an entrant,
yeah.
is what I believe.
Hmm.
So, which were the tools that you were well versed with or acquainted with during that phase?
GPA, I will say, was the one I
Mm.
started initially working on, but I think I will give more weightage to wheel automation. It was a brilliant, I mean, it is a brilliant concept again. It was having few challenges in it, but overall it looked really promising, and I got good hold of it basically. I remember that I developed one automation for one of the uh, big organizations back office. And by
Mm.
that time, the GST was newly launched or newly, came into the picture. Government, launched that, and organizations were struggling with the GSTs and its reconciliation and everything. And then I got opportunity to work on that some one project of the GST reconciliation and win automation.
Mm.
And I spent 5 days, day and night,
Yeah.
building that one. And everyone was like, "This is not going to happen."
Okay.
No one believed. No one believed. No one thought that it can ever get the success that we
Thought
built,
of.
we thought of. So when I mean, it started from, let's say, 10% of the success
Yeah.
initially when I started building.
Uh-huh.
Then gradually, when business users started interacting more and more, so the problem was that business users were not able to, give all the business logics and all the scenarios in one go.
Yeah.
I would go to them. They would say that, okay, this is 10% success is there now. Now you do this, it will get 100%, and I would implement this. Then some other issue would come that, okay, this reconciliation has not happened. Why not happened? Okay, so this logic you have not applied. Okay, then I apply that logic as well. Then it would reach 30%. Then it would reach 60%, then 70%, then 80%, then 90%, 95%. And at the end of the fifth day, when we completed it, it was giving almost 99.9% accuracy.
Which is like victory.
And victory, obviously, it was a big victory because no one believed
Yeah.
in me. I will say, no one believed that I could do that, and it was a big. I mean, I am thankful to the leads who supported me, or my colleagues even by that time who believed in me. Like some over there,
Yeah.
they said that we know that technically maybe he might not be knowing the things. He is from the mechanical background. Maybe I was not much into management, and I was not into communications much. How to communicate with the business users and all, and then how all these things professionally can be carried out in RPA basically. But still, at the end, we were able to achieve that, and it was a great success.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
According to you, are the decision points or conditions that affect the flow of the process which you have picked for automation?
Um, so we got, let's say, we got now we've reached to the stage wherein we know that RPA has to be done. It can come. There can be two approaches. Either, I mean, I have mentioned only one approach or one way why how you reach the RPA. Or there is another approach that someone from bottom can go and raise their voice that we do not want to perform this task now. It's been long, been doing it for a long time, and it's been very redundant now. Can we do something for this?
Yeah.
Like the first was from top to bottom. That we have. This is bottom to top. That you raise a voice as an ground level working person. You raise a voice collectively. Your team raises the voice, and then from there, that voice is heard by the management and lead, and then they think what we can do to maybe solve that problem. So that's where ERP comes into the picture again.
Hmm.
So these two things. Coming to the
But what are the decision points and conditions?
yeah.
Uh, so, for example, you have selected a process to be automated,
Huh.
okay, and that's called as process A.
Hmm.
If you want to automate that, there would be certain decision points in that
Yes.
process flow or certain conditions which would affect the automation. So, according to you, what would those be? And have you faced those particular challenges?
So that will come under, I'll say, how you successfully pick a process for RPA, which will give you expected returns
Hmm.
or which will also boost your confidence in RPA.
Hmm.
That is also equally important. Now, earlier, while selecting the processes or finalizing the processes, methods were much traditional. Now we have a process mining tools. Now we have multiple technological advancement that it will automatically highlight for you that this is a bottleneck where you can look, and from that bottleneck you can find out maybe this can be the best route for RPA.
Yeah.
That is, and then the next things comes in. So the bottleneck or the deciding factors, I will say, these basic are there three rules, whether it is a repetitive one or not, whether it is a voluminous or not, and whether there is a challenges with the accuracy or load or whatever it is. So these will remain there basically. Selection criteria is basically. Now, after that, we need to understand the entire line of where that process is deployed from the start till the finish, not just that process. The pre-applications and post-applications, or pre-processes and post-processes. The challenges can come there. Now, let's say you want to automate certain process, but the input you are getting, it's not in a standard format at all. That could be a bottleneck,
Hmm.
right? Which you cannot apply logic on that. Someone has to give you that
Yeah.
in the format that your bot or your automation accepts it. That could be a bottleneck. After you done the implementation, or after you done, let's say you decide to deploy it, the output of that, whether it is acceptable by the next stage of the process or not, that could be a bottleneck. And the process itself, how much you can automate it, whether you can automate it 100% or not, whether you can automate it 80% and leave 20% on the human to validate, that could be a bottleneck. This is all with respect to process. And then when we discuss about the numbers, if you automate it, how much you are going to get as an ROI?
Hmm.
How much numbers you are going to get in terms of percentage you are going to get returns in a year or two or three or four. If you are going to get good returns, you invest it. If not, then leave it. Then another could be the criticality of the process. Sometimes it's not about the numbers, or maybe it's not about the pre and the post processes, but how critical is it? You cannot accept even 0.01% of the error over there.
Hmm.
Now you forget about the numbers, you forget about the pre and post applications. This is extremely critical. No human should be able to work on this. Maybe finance related, or maybe payment, maybe wherein the currencies are involved, or maybe anything like that, wherein it's highly critical. I'll give you an example wherein we were processing in the RPA automation, we were processing bills, utility bills basically, and the bills were ranging from $1 to $1 million. If you would delay that bill by just a day, it would cause you 1% penalty. Now you consider there is a $1 million bill monthly, and somehow it got delayed by one day. Then you imagine the penalty.
It's humongous.
It's humongous. Then you decide what can we do. This is then that comes at the you can automate it.
Yeah.
Let the automation check it, run it, download it, forward it to the AP system. So
Hmm.
these could be the bottlenecks.
Perfect.
And the people, I think people aspect we did not include. People aspect in the terms as in how much they are comfortable for adopting this, or how much they will allow you to, uh, what I can say, comfortably they will absorb this as a tool, or as a medium to get whatever outcomes you want.
Yeah.
Because people think that this can affect their work ongoing, which is definitely not. That could be the bottleneck as well.
Yep.
Mm.
And then coming to this particular question, okay, and that's the main theme of this particular podcast,
Hmm.
which is RPA dying its own death,
Ah.
or are we humans killing RPA? That's our theme of this particular podcast, and that is where um, I'm coming to the next question, which is quite critical.
Hmm.
Uh, Everybody talks about uh, quick wins,
Hmm.
and I'm not a big fan of quick wins.
No, neither
Yeah,
me. Yeah.
because in quick wins, you try to showcase what is RPA and how it
Exactly.
can be done, and you mess it up completely.
Exactly.
Uh, and that is where I want to get that brutal truth out. That quick wins is important, okay, but it's not the foundation of RPA.
Not at all.
And then that is where, if you could share some light on how do you manage quick wins, and uh, in quick wins, what in order to achieve quick wins, how can you ensure that you stick to the framework of RPA
Hmm.
and not just grab a couple of things from here, a couple of things from there, and just build it and showcase it. So that's not quick wins. So
Obviously.
what's your thought on that?
So I think it starts right from the again discovery phase, uh, building the right pipeline
Hmm.
for processes to be automated and just not throwing everything at it. It's not a magic. It's not a RPA is not a magic stick that you just you know apply or you just throw it and it will get automated. It's not like that. It has a it should be applied strategically. It should be applied or it should be implemented with the proper plan.
Hmm.
Failing to plan is planning to fail. So
Perfect.
if you don't plan well, if you don't strategically put things well, if you don't use resources properly, and if you not give right responsibilities to right people, things will not work.
Okay.
Yeah. Quick wins again. For achieving the quick wins, then you tend to take shortcuts.
Yeah.
Shortcut in terms of deciding the processes. Shortcut in terms of uh, building the right documentation and building the right designs.
Hmm.
Taking shortcuts over there, or maybe not assigning right people to do that. Shortcuts in terms of development, because I think this whole developer community will agree with me that they are constantly getting pushed to implement or develop processes in very much quick time. People are expecting to develop processes in 2 days, 3 days, a week, or even in a day.
Hmm.
I've came across such scenarios. Such things are there. These will affect these type of things will affect. And then once it is still after doing all of these things, you are, let's say you are lucky enough and you are able to push it to the production after doing all of these things, whether it will sustain for the long time or not,
Yeah.
how long it will sustain, and how much time you will face, or how much time you will invest in correcting the things
Hmm.
or applying the patches, or how much time of your developers will go into that maintaining it. That's also constrained.
Yeah.
And this all collectively is uh, putting everyone associated with this entire RPA phases, everyone is getting under a lot of pressure because you have been given a task. You know how to do that correctly. You know all the frameworks, you know all the best practices, and you know in and out of it. But if you get pressurized by this not so good quick wins, you will not be able to do your good work as well.
Yeah.
So the good people are also getting hampered,
Hmm.
and that is where I will say that currently, I mean, it could be it's I will say that's completely my statement as the RPS that have been or the processes that has been deployed in the organization so far, they need a lot of scrutiny. They need to be re-audited. they need to be relooked, they need to be revamped
Hmm.
with the existing advancements in technology, and they need to be taken a good care of so that these will again survive for the next couple of years.
Okay.
Otherwise, you will find it hard for them to survive. I came across one scenario just few days back wherein there was a lead who came to us saying that we have a problem in the production uh, automation. We thought it could be a small problem. We could resolve it. We went ahead. We were on the meeting with the team. What we saw, we were shell shocked. That entire process was built so, I'll say in a wrong manner that only a redevelopment could save that.
Oh.
Otherwise, if there is a problem, finding that problem is like a finding a needle in the grass.
Hmm. That's
It's like
bad.
that. So
Yeah.
that's what happens when you think of the quick wins.
Absolutely, and that is where I wanted to bring this topic out. That even if it is a quick win,
Hmm.
uh, you shouldn't be just looking at uh, uh, or to reframe it. I would say if it is a quick win, you need to ensure that you have proper processes
Yes.
defined
Hmm.
to develop
Hmm.
proper processes in place to govern and also look at the concept of resilient or a sustainable model.
Exactly.
And that is how your quick wins will, uh, I would say, expand into an enterprise-wide solution. What is happening of late, I've seen is quick wins run for maximum 1 month and then die off.
Yeah.
And as a CEO or a CFO who has seen that quick wins, the next meeting he might just ask, "Where is that bot?" And you are like, "We have retired it, or it's not working, and there's a new development
There is a
happening."
problem.
Yes, and that's where the C-level suites start losing confidence in us.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
happens.
and that is where I wanted to bring this point up. And I think you have shared some wonderful insight around it.
There is one more challenge I would like to add. Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt you. Is I'm not sure. Like it's again with all my experiences. Uh, these things are happening at the ground level.
Mhm.
Things are quick wins are getting applied. They are getting promoted to the productions, and then when the fixations or when the problem comes, the uh, the people who are working on it they get pushed so that it doesn't look good. It doesn't look bad to the higher level,
Yeah.
and no one knows what's happening down there. Maybe there could be a problem coming every day, and I'm asking my person to fix it every day, and the people on the higher level thinking that this is working absolutely fine, but it's not.
Yes, absolutely right. And that is where you know I will not get into the nitty-gritties of developing, documenting, or anything of that sort. But you need to have a good partner whilst you are doing automation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Experienced one.
Yes. And that is where my next question would be, what do you think is the role of a good partner for an organization to deploy automations? Do you need a partner, or can we just go ahead and do it on our own? What, according to you, is your view? Yeah.
You can go on your own, but up to certain extent.
Okay.
After
Uh,
that, you need experts. Right?
yeah. So let's objectively get onto it. So
Hmm.
I can run solo,
Yeah.
and I can go to some extent to some
Yes.
level.
Yes.
But when do I need to start having a partner? Okay. And then I have a follow-up question to it. Can I be over dependent on a partner?
Hmm.
And if not, then what are the pitfalls that I should be aware of? So it's a three-folded question. So let's go with first one. Yes, you can run solo, but to a certain
To
extent of a time. So what is that certain extent? What's that certain point?
the certain extent, I mean, till the time you have uh, where you want to again go for the quick wins or where you want to go for something that can be done easily. with the little or more trainings that they get, whether from, let's say, some places like academy, or some places like trainings or something like that. They would get the trainings and everything, and on the basis of that, if they are able to develop something on that scale, uh, wherein they can only focus on automating it, but they will not see the implications in the longer run, or they will not understand the importance of, let's say, best practices, or they will not understand the importance of the well managed, I think, strategy or documentation or testing, or rather the best ways of the development, or rather what type of architectures you want to use, what type of designs you want to use, what type of frameworks you want to use, then whether you need orchestrator or not, whether or if you want to put it on that mode, how it can be done. And apart from that, I think how efficient, first of all, how efficiently you can develop it. See, I can build something. If I do not have experience, I can build, let's say, a car or something like that with my experience. It will take me from point A to point B, but it will take long time. So I can build that. But when expert kicks in, I can go from point A to point B in faster,
Yeah.
in a quick way, with more resilient vehicle, with a more reliable, resilient, maintainable, and trustworthy, and you know, what I can say, in a lesser time, I can go from point A to point B, and with more comfort,
Absolutely.
with more comfort. But when I build something to take me from point A to point B, to my extent of the experience or the skill set or capabilities, I will still go from point A to point B, but will not be that, maybe that comfortable, that quick, or maybe not that in the easy way. Maybe for from point A to point B, I will break down 10 times.
Yeah.
I'll break down 20 times, and then every time I get breakdowns, I'll get demotivated, and eventually I will lose confidence, and eventually my hierarchy will lose confidence. And that's exactly where you may need a partner. Partner will come into the play. Partner will work alongside you, your team. Partner will understand the entire, the entire scenario, entire environment of these, the entire organization-wide scenario. Partner will put the strategies, first of all, in the discovery phase to shortlist the right things for the automation, then right platform, not just the right process, but what is the right platform required for doing this. After deciding the right platform, what are the right tools you need? Then, after that, what are the strategies that you need? What plans you need? And after that, once you have all of these things in the picture, you pick your processes depending on the priorities, depending on the criticality, depending on the ROIs, depending on the quick wins, depending on the lot many things are there. Depending on the dependency on the humans, and many things are there. So you pick your processes, and then your partner will guide you to design it properly, develop it in the best way, and then perform all the aspect of the testing, and then you move it to the production. And partner will also help you to understand the requirement of uh, the entire, what I can say, I'll not say infra, but you need a separate place to develop, you need a separate place to test, you need a separate place to product, like to make it live and run for a longer time. So partner can bring in this whole lot of packed experiences, skills and abilities and whatnot into the picture. And once that starts coming in, maybe I, as a, let's say, who designed maybe the initial vehicle, I along with them get trained, and then I will not, I may or may not become equally competent like them, but I will get closer to them. Now, once that is developed and deployed, and automations and the entire RPA practicing in place, I can now run it. I can now drive it. Once I have that vehicle which is built by the expert, I know how to drive it. I will drive it now. I will do the small fixations. If there are big fixations needed, or there are big challenges, or your technology is getting improved, you want to move from UI, interactions to APIs, you want to move from Access to DB, you want to move from, you want to upgrade the versions of the products and all, or you want to maybe you want to you want to you want to audit your existing process, You want to revamp your processes. You want to add some more flavor to it. Basically, you want to get more out of that entire program, and then you will need partners.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, partners.
So, rightly said. Now, quite a touchy topic to be looked at. If if you're looking at a partner, I think you need to holistically look at that partner,
Yes.
right? Because I've seen a couple of times when you look out for a partner, we just look out for people who could come onto our organization and start building the bots. And we don't look at the entire capability of the partner.
Exactly.
We just look at outsourcing of the developers.
Yeah.
And then that is where I need your understanding. Is that the right way to look at partner sourcing, or what could be the best way to look at having a partner alongside you for scaling up from RPA to intelligent automation, and further ahead to IDP to AI? So what is it that you need to look at? Because I'm not a big fan of just outsourcing of
Correct.
developers. But what's your view?
Uh, See, outsourcing of the developer is fine again to a certain extent. You have when you have inbuilt capabilities to handle them or to drive you basically. But unfortunately, uh, somewhere they lose a track.
Yes.
Initially, they are quite enthusiastic. They are quite excited. We'll do this, we'll do that. They will start building things, and then slowly and steadily, when you start realizing that people have their limitations, depending on their experience, depending on the previous projects that they have worked on, depending on the trainings or what they got, depending on the way you are handling them, all these things. So they have their limitations. Now, when you start seeing those limitations, right, there you start losing confidence and your expectation starts breaking.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely right.
Right. So uh, the right way again is maybe not for the whole time, but there should be expert for each role, or there should be a right person for each role.
Hmm.
Maybe an architect needs to focus on architecture
Yes.
or designing. BA needs to focus on entire process understanding and all, and then the leadership for process discovery, and then developers needs to focus on the development in the best possible way, utilizing the best talent that they have. The support engineer needs to look into the entire support thing and on. So each and every role has some demands which only experienced or a professional into that role can.
Yeah.
Not other person can come into that role and do all these things. Maybe he or she can do it up to certain extent, but not to an organizational or industry level implementations that they can handle. They will break. And once everything starts breaking, you start losing the confidence. And even though after all of this, you are lucky enough or you have pulled it well enough to make it live, maintaining it would be the hassle.
Yes.
You will spend more time or and more money maintaining it rather than what you have spent on developing.
Absolutely right.
And then you will think that okay, this is not yielding me the results.
Hmm.
Let's go back to the traditional things.
And that is where my next question would be around, uh, have you ever experienced uh, scenario,
Hmm.
or in your entire practice, that you're working for a company and suddenly you're being uh, asked for a partner outsourcing, and you get developers
Hmm.
as part of your clan,
Hmm.
and you get all freshers,
Yeah.
and and the cost is humongous. You asked for an experienced individual,
Hmm.
uh, and but you get them labeled as experienced. Uh, but when you ask them to get on to develop the bots, it's a pure freshers experience.
Hmm.
How how do you view this massaging or masking of developers who are freshers but as experienced individuals, and then being sent across to the various companies to just go and build bots? And unfortunately, there is nobody to govern them, because your engagement with the partners is just that I need resources and
Exactly.
I will manage
I will
them.
manage that.
Yeah. How do you look into this particular situation? Uh, I have had a bad experience. Yeah, but learned few things around it,
Yeah.
and that's where I said partner outsourcing is very important. I
Exactly.
want to understand your views. How would you manage this situation?
So we came across such scenarios multiple times. Uh, I was working in my the previous company, and we would get we would hire same kind of resources.
Yeah.
The reason being, there are multiple reasons actually why this thing happens, and we can from their point of view we can understand that. Let's say your company is a brand new, and you want to run it, and you charge X amount to clients, and then you cannot afford to have experienced professional because they cater to cost you a lot. So you go for the freshers or 1 to 2 years of experienced people. Now, when they come to my client, and I have a lot of processes to work on, uh, and they are just recently trained. I mean, they do not know much about it. So again, that is something can lead to losing confidence on the in the long term in RPA, or it will again, I will say, coming to the reason behind this podcast is, in the longer run, it will hamper the RPA,
Yes.
right? So how we managed it is, or how we looked towards it is, um, I mean, and there can be multiple ways. Like one is, we put in a lot of our times. We invested a lot of time from my side, from the leadership side, uh, to show them in the front, but helping them to resolve their task or complete their tasks continuously. Whatever development, let's say you are a fresher or you are a near fresher experienced person, you got one tasks, and yes, you will not be able to do that thoroughly. But I'll sit with you for a longer time and I'll help you do that. I can sit with one, I can sit with two, three, four, but I cannot sit with everybody, right? So, and then the challenge starts coming up. The things will not get completed in time. Even though they get completed in time, they will be not of good quality. If even though they you will be able to maintain the quality, in the longer run they will start failing, and
Yes.
all these things happen. So the straightforward thing is, we need, for that particular, let's say for these pressures, I can give them the low priority and low critical or low complex processes to work on. But to work on the complex processes, complex automations, complex implementations, and wherein the criticality high and the business impact is high, I still need those running horses in my team. If we do not have them, we go to management, we go to the higher management, and we tell them, boss, we need this. Without them, we cannot pull this. Even if we pull this tomorrow, you will not take my name in a good way. That okay, this guy, he did not highlighted this to us, and now everything is in mess. Obviously, not everyone will be at the same place all for a longer time. So we need to convey the right message to the leads, saying that in a right way, that see, this is the very complex one. This is where I need this expertise. This is where I need people of this experience in my client to achieve this. With this pool, I can do only this. I cannot go beyond that. I can go beyond with my responsibility, my accountability, and my experience, but I cannot sit with every one of them.
Yeah.
I can train them, but it will take a long time. Are you willing to give me that time to train them so that they reach that level? It may take 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, and a year also. Are you willing to hold your program back for that purpose? Or if you do not have those that much critical process, you are fine with it. If you have, then we need people, we need pool. And
Yeah.
that's how one can cater it. And not just the pool of developers, I mean your experienced developer. One person cannot do everything. I need a pool of different role set. I need a pool wherein I will have a person expert BA, expert BA, expert solution architect, expert team of devs, expert leads, expert project managers, expert tech account managers. I need support engineers. I need every one of them. If we have this pool, we are definitely going to get success. If we don't, if we have only these five, let's say, freshers, we are going to fail big time.
Hmm. So yes, uh, automation, yes, is in play. RPA is there in play, but RPA itself is not dying. It's we as humans are just bringing this technology for us to use, but we're not really applying sense
Exactly.
to get it available for us in the maximum efficiency available. And then and in this bargain, what we're doing is uh, the developers are also getting pressured, is because you have put them into a complex situation with less of an experience or with no experience, and then that's when they start losing confidence, and the program itself cripples, and also the individual starts doubting their own capabilities, and
Exactly, exactly.
the entire math starts failing over there.
Feeling good. Yeah.
And then hence, my next question would be, uh, if you have a setup of automation that you want to scale, okay, and you have a partner aligned, okay, what is the mix of the entire COE that you would look at? How much number would you have for partner? Would you have your inner strength also available? Uh, how would you look at that? And would you just have one partner, or would you have multiple partners in play? So can we look at this particular two-folded question?
Yeah. So what will be the ratio?
Yeah,
Yeah. That
not a
how much?
strict one, but
Yeah,
a liquid
approximately.
one.
Like how much you can outsource and how much you can build inside.
Yes.
So outsourcing is definitely required at the level of understanding the needs of the process and designing it.
Hmm.
Okay, wherein you need definitely a good experience backing you. There you definitely need it. Inbuilt, you can have maybe someone who can go to your colleagues and understand their processes. We might need to train that person to a certain extent, but still, they are still colleague. That person can go to, I mean, I can come to you, I can understand your process. We are very much familiar with each other, right? That will help.
Yeah.
So that one thing is something, let's say, can be done. But having then the professional VA from the partner VA will definitely help you in preparing a well documented process and understanding every bit of it and documenting every scope and what's not in the scope and everything. So that one we can think. But architecting it has to be done outside, like outsourcing. Designing the architect cannot be done by any other person because that architect who came from, let's say, an architect also needs to come from the development background. I'm strongly of the opinion that an architect who is an architect in other maybe automation technologies maybe or from coming from some other background of architecting something else, may he or she may not come and directly succeed in RPA as an architect.
Hmm.
You have to start gaining experience right from the development. You start from the developer, senior developer, lead, then you start growing gradually and You need to have a ground level experience. You know, you should know, let's say if we discuss about the UiPath, you should know each and every activity, you should know each and every what that packages are going to do, what that how you utilize the frameworks, and then how this works in, let's say, UiPath, how multi-board architecture works, how the infra can be aligned with your needs. Having a knowledge of infra is equally important.
Yes.
Having the knowledge of your uh, let's say setup, entire setup is equally important. What all other components or products you have to accompany your design? You have AI center, you have action center, you have document understanding, you have let's say post implementation, you have insights and on for monitoring. So having all of these things, knowing all of these things is extremely important. And when you have all of this experience together, then you be the architect. This partner, this internally is not possible.
Okay.
Any other partner for
So, so you're saying VA can be internal, solution architect has to be through a partner.
exactly, exactly.
Okay. And what about developers then?
Developers, I will say mix of again that it depends on the processes. Again, let's say you have a low complex, low critical processes which does not have a lot of business impact, but still it has a business impact. Those internal people can work on it and start developing it. They may get challenges here and there wherein they can connect with the partner expert and get them clear and they can make it live and start working on them. So they will gradually get more experience and they will start building more complex processes. And then the medium to low to medium and high complex processes. There you need expertise. There you need a development, experts over there. There you need someone with the 3 to 4 years or 4 to 5 years of experience in the development who knows, let's say, if one option is not available for me, what workarounds I have. Let's say I will not be able to for UI automation if I am not able to get that data is on the page, and your internal person only knows that I need to do data scraping. If that fails, then that person will not be able to go further. But your experienced person knows that if that fails, I have other options as well.
Hmm.
I will probably get APIs, or I'll probably, scan it rows by rows or columns by columns, and I'll get those values. I'll build a table. All these things. I'll perform some link to queries. I'll put them under, let's say, SQL DB. I'll do data massaging on that, and then many other things. I'll inject some C sharp code, or I'll inject some Python scripts in between and all. So there you need a lot of experience, and then these internal team cannot do. So I'll say that, let's say, 30% you can have an internal team who is working on the low complex processes, and then rest you can have a more experts to cater your higher your complex and the medium, maybe medium to high complexity processes. And then coming to the supporting, you can completely go ahead with the. I can say that internally is also fine supporting them because they have a checklist to check.
Yes.
If this process does not run, what is the
What I
error?
need to check, yeah.
What I need to check? They have the checklist. Okay, they can do that. And then if there is an error, they can escalate to again RPA team. And then they fix it. Or maybe that can be internal. And then the management can be internal as well. But being a manager in RPA is again a big challenge. I have seen programs failing because the manager is from some other domain and they have asked to manage the RPA program.
I'll come to this question, quite an interesting one, but coming to the question of the entire support teams being aligned, and this is one issue that I have observed. You have a support team which is internal with the customer, okay, and the bot has been built by a partner. The entire knowledge transfer has been done, and everything looks hunky dory. The bot works for 2 3 months,
Yeah.
and suddenly you implemented a new security sort of an practice, for example, workflow analyzer. Implemented it across.
Okay.
Now, if you know what is workflow analyzer, it's like a SaaS tool, but not like a complete SaaS tool, but it tells you what are the errors in your code,
Yeah.
where have you messed up, goofed up, and suddenly you see 250 errors. That wonderful code which you got from the partner is messed up.
Messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't make any change on that particular bot is because you need to first fix those 250 codes, right? And you can't expect the support guys to do that.
Do that.
Is that correct? See, in this scenario, you have your support team intern, you have your partner who is out, and you have 250 errors to be fixed. How would you fix this particular issue? And who's the guilty person over here? Whose neck would you catch now?
So that responsibility lies with everyone.
Absolutely.
I'll not say that there is a single person responsible for this.
True.
It lies with partner, it lies with the internal team, it lies with everyone.
Yes.
Everyone has a equal.
So we failed every. So we as a team have failed.
We as
in
a team
this
has have failed.
practice.
Not a person.
Not a particular partner or a particular COE.
Yes.
It's the entire team. Which is-
Entire team. So if we have failed as an entire team, we have to fix it as an entire team.
Yes. Right.
So if you are able to do it, and it again depends on how critical the process is, how soon you want that type to fix, what is the implications on your business of that, whether financially you are going to get implicated a lot and all. So depending on that, whether your internal team is able to fix it in the given period of time or not.
Hmm.
If they are able to do that, well then go ahead. No one to blame. It's just it's just the in the journey of this automation program, it's just that one hurdle that came, you resolved it, you move ahead.
Yes.
If you keep blaming, if you keep pointing out to who did it, why they did it, obviously root cause analysis should be done. And once you do that analysis, whatever solutions you have implemented or added, those should get documented, and then they should be added to the next phases of the project or next projects. So if that is in their ability to fix it, they will do it. If not, they have to call partner
And bring him on board
and bring him on
get it
board.
fixed.
Yeah, those who did it. Now here, there are again multiple things affecting that. You cannot bring in partner directly because they will not be ready at that moment to help you out. So one thing wherein many places it people are failing is documenting things right, or making sure that when you hand something to someone, if I hand you something, let's say I hand one process from me to you, or you to someone else, or even someone to someone else, how smooth that transition can be, or how soon that person can pick that up. I give you 250 challenges or errors, whether you are able to point out them to the right place in your automation and fix it or not, or whether you are spending more time finding them even. So therein, your as partner expertise, I'll say how lean, neat, manageable with the reusable component, how that thing is built.
Hmm.
If it's built well, if you have everything in background to support that, PDDs, SDDs, UAT documentation, checklist, sign offs, everything, you have a record of people who worked on them as a first time people, everything is there. Maybe you have some video analyst videos as well, you know the process people as well, you will fix it in a quick time without getting into partners.
Yes.
And it's the responsibility of the customer or the leadership team or management team from that side to get it done from the partner. They obviously, it lies with everyone, no question, but it should be, question should be asked, you have done this or not, you have done this or not, you have done this or not. There are partners who are willingly, or they have been doing it on their own for the customers. There are great partners.
Yes, and I'll align to your thought is because we are blessed to have some great partners to
Great
work with,
partners.
who have picked it up, saying yes, there is a problem, let's fix it, and have not cried about it. And that is where partner outsourcing was my critical topic to look at. And you
Yeah.
need someone who would work hands in gloves with you,
Yes.
and then not just look at money and cost.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that is where this particular situation, when faced,
Yeah.
you need the partner to jump into it and fix it for you.
Exactly.
And the other bit that you need to do here is you need to have solid coding practices in place.
Exactly.
And that's where my next question is going to come to you. is, see, we are in a low code, no code environment.
Huh.
Okay. But in the background, there is still a code.
There is still a code.
Yeah. And if you don't have solid practices,
Hmm.
which tells you what that line of code is,
Hmm.
has that been dynamically written? Are there comments on it? Have you used the right casing? Have you ensured the assets are there? Have you reused the components which can be reused rather than recreating it again and again? Something of that sort should be in play.
Exactly.
And hence, the next question here is low code, no code. That's what everybody talks about. Okay.
Hmm.
Is it really low code, no code? Or and it's just drag and drop and we don't need to follow any guardrails. Is that the case? Or deep down there is a lot of things that we need to look at. And this low code no code is just a fancy word uh, which everybody is embracing. What do you think?
I have a very different thought process on that. See, a low code, no code platform will only replace your effort to write a line of code, or it will present that to you in much better form so that any person from non-programming background can come and understand. It can present you in that form. I want to click somewhere. As a programmer, maybe I will write a line of code, I'll add some more parameters and I'll execute it. But as a non-programming background person, I will come, I will drag and drop, click activity, I'll mention where it should click, and I'll mention a couple of parameters, that's done. Right?
Yes.
Same thing for both different people, right? So the ease of not having to write that line of code and parameters over there or managing it over there. I have a nice representation now. I have lesser things to do. I just need to point it out and I just need to mention what I need to do. And it's maybe a couple of parameters. But even if that is the case, in both the cases, what you need to do if that doesn't happen, that action doesn't happen, what you need to do, still you have to do that. You have to build that thing as well. Where you need to fit in entire automation, at which place, you still have to do that. How many times you have to do, whether it can be a usable component or not, you still have to do that. So the ease of not having a code written with lot of complexity is that ease is achieved in this. However, making it logically correct, making it flow wise correct, making it correct from the framework point of view, making it technically correct, making it something that can run in the longer run, making it maintainable, and all of these things are still there. You cannot just drag and drop anywhere, anything, and make it work. No,
Yes.
you have frameworks, right? You have designs to make, you have components to fit still in the puzzle. What should come first? We have a dispatcher performer design, I will say. What should come first? Dispatcher and then the performer. How many performers should be there? So, your logical thinking, your thought process, your art of building it, it's still there.
Hmm.
It cannot be replaced.
Yes.
And this low code, no code platform can only give ease to you to build those things.
Absolutely right.
But it cannot replace the thorough implementation of entire program or in even a specific process. You still have to understand the process well, design it well, develop it well, implement it well, make it well, maintain it well. Now, in this whole journey, where do you see part of low code, no code platform? Where do you see in the development? The rest of the entire program still remains the same. You may replace one tool by another, you may replace one technology by another, or you may replace one way of doing it by another. But the pre and post things are still same. And depending on that, your maybe architecture will change, your testing will change, your support will change, and all those will change. So
Absolutely.
it can be, you can say that it's a hype one, maybe you can say that, but equally it's important. I have realized it myself, being a non-programming background person. As a mechanical engineer, I have understood how important that is. That initially it gives you that easiness. Initially it makes you comfortable. For example, we have Studio X. It makes a business user comfortable with that entire platform, and then they can get trained, and then they can eventually get mature, and then they want to build organizational level automations, and then they start using Studio Pro, and they start building even more complex automations.
I think you're spot on with this LCNC, which is low code and no
Yeah.
code. So it's a platform which is fit for use, enables you to write codes or build programs faster, but you cannot skip the frameworks. You cannot skip the entire
No.
art of possibility,
No, we cannot
design
do that.
thinking, and all these stuff.
No, we cannot.
So yes, but it the fit for use will also lead to a rise of complexities. Is
Exactly.
what believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if everybody starts using low code, no code,
Yeah.
and if you don't follow a particular framework,
Exactly.
you don't follow a particular architecture or design, the complexity of these bots will keep on increasing, and you will not have sustainable bots in play.
Exactly. And
Yeah, and then that is where the resiliency is what really makes me uncomfortable over here with this low code no code platforms.
it
Uh,
has to be governed properly.
yes.
There should be practices, strict practices for checking, for let's say code review checklist, strict practices, um, best practices, which comes under the part of code review checklist itself. Everything what you do, you plan it strategically. There, I think the governance or someone to look into it and make sure that that is done. If it is not there, then it will be missed. If that is done properly, then I think there are no problems, right?
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
I have seen people building workflows, loops inside loops, or ifs inside ifs, and 30 ifs inside it. You've seen it. That happens because you do not have the someone to check it, someone expert or some person, because that will still work. Obviously, that even all that tech will work, but someone should come to you and tell you that, okay, there is a flowchart. You should use this as well, and you should plan that, or you should build it in that way. You know, that is where it's getting problematic. It's easy to complicate things, but it's very difficult to make things look simple.
Absolutely. And hence, uh, the other bit that I would like to ask you is, if I want to build a sustainable and a resilient automation, and this is not RP, I'm talking about automation.
Automation.
What is it that I need to look at the design phase? Uh, with the discovery phase, I think everybody is sorted now. You have a lot of process mining tools coming into
Exactly.
play, which tells you what is the output of your process, where are you lacking, what are your value adds, where are the sweet spots that you should automate. And then that information is now readily available. You have beautiful diagrams that come into play, and it showcases you the efficiencies and inefficiencies. The next phase is the design phase. Now, here, if you want to build sustainable automations, what is the mantra?
Uh, the mantra is again considering every aspect of that process, not just the process, but what comes before process, what comes after process, and what's inside the process, what resources you have to work on, whether you can, let's say, if you have UI interactions, whether you can get APIs into place. Now, coming even before that, uh, understanding. uh, the nature of process. That is absolutely important. Understanding where it is, where the crunch lies of the entire process, where it is taking maximum efforts and time. Maybe login is sorted, logout is sorted, but in between navigation is also sorted. Or with the APIs also things are a little bit sorted, but when the complex data starts pitching in, or with the data also when starts complex data starts pitching in, then it gets more challenging. Then how you design it, what type of architecture do you prefer, what type of framework do you prefer, do you have your inbuilt company organizational framework, or you still use something provided by, let's say, tools, or you have built something of your own. And after that framework, uh, in what part of that framework, what part of process you fit, how you break your process. First is breaking your process to a to phases which are, what I can say, which are a collection of certain actions. And when once you break them, you got small chunks of the processes, and then you fit those chunks of the processes into your framework, and then you try to find out whether these chunks can be used anywhere else in your process repetitively. So that's a reusability component that comes into the picture. Then understanding your infra as well, understanding your resources in the background. How much, let's say you have a height in, for example, you have one machine and you are having multiple robots. So the resources, the RAM, the performance of the machine, the virtual memory, everything is getting shared basically. So how much processing load you can put on that? How much resources you can consume or how much you have available? Whether you are including a bulky data operations or you are breaking your data into small chunks, and that is how your framework is built to process that. How much data you are carrying with your process, whether you are carrying the entire load throughout the entire process, or you are just, when in your design or in your process you are processing chunk of data, releasing the memory, chunk of data, releasing the memory, and then it is more efficient, it is more faster, it is more productive. And then when it comes to handling or communicating with the business or RPA team, how intelligently it can do that, how with ease it can do that, whether you are able to communicate right message to right person or not, if there is a exception or if there is a success or whatever, whether you are able to do that or not, how you have thought about reporting, how you have thought about input methods, how you have thought of where you want to store the entire files, how you archive it, what are the channels of communication. Then I think one point came to my mind with respect to design. Um, so all these things plus that was a nice point. The virtual memory and all, we covered, even the frameworks we covered and everything we covered. Whether you can use uh, any anything that is not consuming your actions, uh, then communication is done intelligent way, how you can communicate with the business users. And so I think all of these things are extremely important in terms of designing a successful process, and then with how minimal resources you can do it. That's my mantra. My mantra is, you do not use huge set of resources that you have, but you build it with the least resources that you have. If you are able to do that, you will build something that is sustainable, reliable, maintainable, and that can run in the long run. For example, I will build a workflow, or I will build entire automation in, let's say, a total of 100 activities only. Whereas someone, or I will design it this way, or whereas other person can build it in 300, 400 activities.
Hmm.
That's my mantra. Make it look that the design is the key of success.
Absolutely. So, we clearly put it, RPA is dead if it is pure, if it is poorly built and designed. Uh,
Or poorly managed as well.
yes, and or poorly managed as well.
Yeah.
RPA cannot, or forget about RPA, automation cannot die unless you are purely managed it inefficiently, poorly designed it, and I think I think you poorly built it.
Poorly built it.
Otherwise, your automations won't die.
Exactly, they won't.
They would just keep on sustaining. In fact, you would have a room to scale it to the next level.
Exactly. Yeah.
And hence, in the design phase, you should spend a lot of time to ensure that you use APIs, you use integrations
Integration
that are
services and
available,
all. Yeah.
not focus on GUI automations.
One of the
Yes, not entirely be dependent on IT to tell you that these are the only modes available. You need to start reinventing the wheel. Automation is about taking and trying to get the best out of the tool as well as the process, and that's where the mindset also plays an important role to ensure that you keep on keep on inventing so that you get the right fit
exactly.
to ensure that the process is well designed,
Mm.
and then you have a room for the next level of automation that you could.
Intelligent automation.
Yes. So if you're not building a platform right now,
Mm.
for obvious reasons, RPA, which is a desktop automation or an attended automation, which was never a robotics, will always keep dying. And that is where I still think RPA is not dead. I think we have scaled above RPA. We are now into that era of intelligent automation.
Intelligent automation.
But yes, it will only scale up and be resilient if you have a lot of time spent in the design phase.
Lot of time.
And I think that's where even you are hinting. Now coming on uh, to the question of RPA or automation or intelligent automation, uh, people are now getting into building automations at a very faster rate, uh, getting into citizen developer programs, allowing end users to also build bots and deploy them for their own use. Okay, how are how are how are COEs now able to govern these bots? Because these are rampantly being created by users.
Mm.
Okay, you have no control.
No control.
Uh, you've got the tool available for use. You just go ahead and create it. So bots are being built
Mm.
rampantly. How are COEs governing it? Have you seen such instances at your end? Uh, and what's your experience? How would you govern these bots?
Um, I'll say for them, I know that I have came across such scenarios wherein they have built something without anyone discussing with any experts or without having the proper governance in place, and then it starts behaving abruptly.
Yeah.
And it starts these things starts doing things that they are not supposed to, or misbehaving maybe, not working in the right manner. So the thing is that there should be a proper validations happening. Once you build something, there should be, before building, you need an approval. Why you want to build it? What is the reason? What do you want to achieve from it? And what advantage you see from it? If you have that approval, go ahead, do it. If you don't, then find out something else. Okay, that governance should be there, strict governance. Then once you build it, whether you have followed everything correctly or not, to the point, that is extremely important, and someone should be there to govern that, right? Or they should be trained well enough with their they must be, their mind should be open enough to understand the implications of that.
Hmm.
If we make them understand the implications of not building the things right or not having a right output, then in that case, they will understand that okay, if I do something wrong, it may not just affect me, but organization, and eventually it will affect everyone from my team as well. Maybe you will do something like that. So making them understand what can go wrong is extremely important. Rather than telling them what to do, that absolutely needs to be done. But if you don't do it right, what can go wrong? We need to tell it to them. And once they want to go, once they want to use it for themselves, in that moment also, they need to get it validated, checked by the COEs or experts, or they should have a complete, they should have all the time watch on them. Or I think ideally they should consult. The citizen developer should consult that okay, I have done this development, because if they do things in right, their confidence is going to get increased. Their confidence will boost up, and slowly and gradually they will start building more complex things. And there will be a time wherein every person who, let's say, was a citizen developer is now a seasoned developer, who is now a seasoned, technically strong person. They can build automations for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the ultimate goal of automation, or maybe RFP.
Perfect. Coming to the last question of this podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Whilst we have now been very clear that RPA is it's not dead, it's been poorly designed and hence it is dying off. What would be the uh, mantra for the listeners so that next time when you're building automations, you build an automation which is having a higher uptime and doesn't cripple every month, but keeps sustaining and keeps evolving, giving birth to multiple automation? What would be a mantra?
My mantra would be, we need to have a right people at right place in a right role at right time.
Hmm.
If we do that, and if we back them for what they are doing, give them enough confidence and freedom for what they want to do, then I think there will be heights that we have not seen till now. We'll
Yes.
build bots that will do, or we'll build automations that will do magic.
Hmm.
I have seen that.
Yeah.
Bots performing magics. I have seen, because see, someone motivated me, helped me, someone gave me that confidence. That's why I'm sitting in front of you.
Yes.
We need to do it same for everyone who is available over there, and not to overburden them, or not to over pressurize them, or not to expect automation to do magic immediately. It will do its magic, but it will take time.
Absolutely.
It's like it will remove your pain from the root if you give it a right, if you give it right time, right duration.
Yes.
You may take a painkiller now with a quick wins and have a temporary relief, but there will not be a root cause fix of that.
Yes.
So you want a long-term root cause to get fixed, follow this strategy. And also expectations, I will say. I'll not say limit the expectations, have a right expectations.
Absolutely. Don't limit, but set the right expectations.
Set right expectations.
Perfect. Perfect. I think it was an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thanks a lot.
Amazing insights, a lot of knowledge. I think there will be more such sessions coming on. And I would be keen to understand more about your journey.
Yeah.
And where is automation next with regards to Gen AI. And I think that's the topic that we should soon connect on. But thank you so much once again, and
My pleasure.
it's a pleasure having you on the podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sripad, for having me here. It was a nice discussion. We enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you. Thank you.